Welcome to the appropriately named Unbearable podcast. As we've been told, we are unbearable to listen to, so I guess
Yeah.
that's why it's our name. I'm Ryan Voss.
Also unfunny. We've been called that as well.
No,
Yeah.
hey, we're not out here trying to be comedians. With me, as always, Drew Testa. Drew, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty well. The weather's getting, picking up, getting nicer, so I can't complain.
No, yeah, you gotta love that. I feel like sometimes we always talk about our podcast, and I figured out who we are. Okay, we don't pretend to have good takes. We don't pretend to have insight or anything like that. But what we do is I at least do live on Twitter. I almost said Tinder. I don't live on there. I live on Twitter, and I see information from all around the league. So I feel like I got my ears to the streets. I'm hearing nuggets, and someone who might be a more casual, because I do not consider myself a casual NFL fan or Bears fan, might not know some of this stuff. So if you like, oh yeah, I kind of like the Bears, listen to us, and you'll know the Bears just about as well as anyone. Wouldn't you agree, Drew? That's how we are.
Yeah, but you said we don't pretend to have good takes. What makes a take good?
There's never a good take. We're gonna watch this episode on Sunday when the draft's all over, and we're gonna look like idiots because everything we talked about is gonna be wrong. That's how it is. But that's how it is for everyone in the NFL. No one knows.
No one knows.
So yeah, we are gonna talk about the Bears draft. And by doing so, we kind of have to talk about the NFL draft in general, at least as a whole. And there's two preferred situations I have for Thursday night. Thursday night's a big night. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm gonna talk about day 2 and day 3. I don't know college football that well. Drew, you might know. You do know more than me, so you might know a little bit about.
I couldn't tell you who I think the Bears are targeting in like the 4th round.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, you know more than me, but you don't know it on that level. No one does. Even NFL guys will say, "Yeah, I just let the scouts do the work and I listen to them." So we will talk about it though, because I will have something to say. I'm not gonna try to come out here and say like, oh, I know things, but I have. When we drafted, for example, Adrian Amos, I know he was gonna be good. When we signed Bryce Callahan, the undrafted free agent, I knew he was gonna be good. We drafted Darnell Mooney, I knew he was gonna be good. I'm not saying like I just got feelings about guys and I've been right. So it would be kind of fun to talk about them. I will probably watch a couple of these guys' highlight tapes. I know you will too, Drew. So
yeah.
You should expect an episode from us maybe next Sunday or Monday, like this week, just recapping the draft. We'll for sure have something to talk about with the first round.
Oh yeah.
So the NFL draft depends on a lot of what happens early. For all intents and purposes, I'm not going to really talk about anything except before 2015 because that was before Ryan Pace, and I feel like the conversation with the Bears starts in 2015 when Ryan Pace was hired as general manager. And it's either we've had high top 10 picks or we've had no first round picks at all. This is the first year where we've not been inside the top 10 and had a first round pick. So, Drew, what are your thoughts? What do you want the Bears to do with that first round pick?
If it was up to me, if I was Ryan Pace, and again, there's a reason that he's in his chair and I'm sitting here talking about this, right? If we get to pick, I'll say past pick the Dolphins aren't gonna. So if we get to pick like 7, 8, like end of the top 10, and Justin Fields is still on the board, I would really like to for us to make a move and try to bring him in, because I think from where he was valued earlier in the season compared to now, if we have the opportunity to get him, I would take the shot on him.
All right, I'm glad you bring that up because that's exactly where I'm at. In a lot of my feeling on Thursday is going to depend. A lot of people say the draft starts with the 4th pick. No, I really do believe the draft starts with the 3rd pick. It's either I want the Bears to trade up and go get a quarterback, or I want them to trade back and get more assets. And we'll explore the trade back situation. I don't want them picking at 20. If they're picking at 20 on Thursday night, I'll probably be kind of mad about it. But my thought with the draft is we know what's going to go Lawrence. We know what's going to go Wilson, right?
Right.
If the Falcons take Fields, then I probably don't want the Bears to draft up. That's the quarterback I've decided I want the Bears to get. How do you feel?
Yeah. I couldn't see the Falcons picking a quarterback.
I'm going to see 49ers.
Oh, well, I read something today that's between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Again, that could just be cap. No one really knows, like you were saying earlier, if that's true. But from the most recent reports that I've read is that it's down to Mac Jones and Trey Lance at pick 3. But obviously we don't know that.
Smoke screens. Yeah, I can't trust that too much. Go ahead. So let's play the scenario that they do take Mac Jones or Trey Lance. Okay, let's
Okay.
run down this scenario for a little bit. The Falcons, I really don't think are going to take a quarterback.
I think they'll go with. I know everyone's saying Pitts, and yeah, that's the flashy pick, but I would be surprised if they didn't go offensive tackle.
Okay, that's an interesting take. I haven't heard that a lot for them. So we know the Bengals aren't taking it at 5. I should have the draft pulled up. Who's at 6? The Dolphins.
The Dolphins, they're not going quarterback.
They're not going quarterback. 7.
It's Carolina, I believe.
I think they're 8.
Oh,
I'm looking up the order, but I don't think Carolina is either. So yeah, then you're getting to like 9, 10. The Bears should trade.
The only team that could potentially pick him would be Denver. But let's say hypothetical, obviously. Let's say
Hold
49ers.
On. Go ahead, actually.
Okay, let's say 49ers go with Mac Jones, pick 3. No quarterbacks go until Denver. Denver picks Trey Lance.
9. Okay.
And then Dallas is sitting there at 10. Who says we can't trade up with Dallas to pick 10 if Justin Fields is still on the board? I think that'd be a great move for us.
It wouldn't take too much either.
Yeah.
You could trade your first to third and a 6th. That would probably get you there to get Dallas to go back 10 spots. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But number 6 was actually the Dolphins. We read about that. 7 was Detroit. They're not taking a quarterback. So it's really the only one in the top. If quarterback gets past Atlanta, then someone's going to drop. And someone could drop into that 10 range. Because you're right. I think Denver would probably take a quarterback at 9. But I don't see Cincinnati, Dolphins, Detroit, or Carolina taking a quarterback. So Atlanta's really where the draft starts, as people say. But it also depends what the 49ers do.
Right. But the point is, even if it's not, let's say it's not Justin Fields, who we both said it's the guy we want to be take. If Trey Lance is on the board at 10, I would trade up for him. I'm not very high on Mac Jones, but if we have the chance to get Trey Lance or Justin Fields, I prefer Justin Fields, but I'd be willing to take a shot on Trey Lance as well.
I think the Bears have to make a move up. And I was thinking about this too. Last year's draft, I was so into it. It was deep quarantine. I would go out into my garage. I'd work out. It was like cold out, so I'd always wear a sweater, sweatpants, and a hat. I felt like Rocky IV when he was training for the Russian. But that was me training for the draft. I'm listening to my podcast. I'm working out. This year, I've not done any of that. And I've always done that. I used to ride the bus and read every single mock draft. It didn't matter if your mom was making it. I was reading it. I don't care about the NFL draft. I don't know if it's because the Bears are picking late or I just don't have excitement about the Bears, their future. I don't know what it is.
That's I was going to say, more so the state of the way the Bears are right now, the state of how they are. It's kind of hard to get super invested in anything they're doing right now, I feel like.
So, all right, we both are in agreement. It's going to be Lawrence, Wilson, and we're both in agreement that it depends what happens at 3 and 4. That's going to determine the night. And if the Bears are able to somehow get a quarterback, our preferred quarterback would be going Fields, Lance, Jones. Is that what the Unbearable podcast feels about this situation? Oh, this is our badge, our first freeze.
Hold on, my thing just lagged. What did you say? I'm sorry.
All right, I said I think what we can take away from that situation is that Lawrence is going first, Wilson's going second, and then the draft starts at 3 and 4.
Right.
And if someone falls, and if the Bears are able to trade up, we want it to be first Fields, second Lance, third Jones.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even trade up for Mac Jones. I would rather not trade up at all than get Mac Jones. I just don't think he's anything, in my opinion.
Let's talk about this situation. Say the Bears make a pick at 20. Okay. What do you want them to do?
I would only want them to stay at 20 if there's someone that slipped because of all the quarterbacks, right? So if we're talking about, I mean, obviously this is probably not going to happen. We're talking about one of the 3 top receivers, probably not Chase, but Waddle or Devontae Smith, Rashawn Slater, or one of the 3 cornerbacks, either Farley, J.C. Horn, or Patrick Surtain. I'd be okay with any of those guys. But if those guys are off the board, then I wouldn't really know who else to really pick up right there. But I think there's a chance that one of those guys could fall because of all the quarterbacks that are going to go.
Okay, that's a good analysis. I agree. The number 1 position is quarterback, but then we kind of get down to quarterback. Then we kind of get down to cornerback, wide receiver, tackle, and I don't really have any of those above another. I think we're not great at any of those positions, but I think we're okay. They're not that big of a need compared to how big of a need it is at quarterback. So I did look up the last 6 drafts. because those are all in the Ryan Pace era. The last 6 picks at 20 were Clevion Chaseon, Noah Fant, Frank Ragnow that made a Pro Bowl, Garrett Bowles, Darren Lee, Nelson Aguilar. So none of those guys are really anything to write home about.
Yeah.
They're guys that you all know if you know the NFL, but they're nothing like, oh, we got a game changer. Like they're just serviceable guys. So that brings us to the Bears trading back. And the conversation needs to be had about the picks the Bears do have, because there's a narrative that the Bears don't have a lot of picks. The Bears actually have 8 picks, or no, 7 picks. Yeah, so they got their first round pick, second, third, fifth, and then 3 or 4. So yeah, 8 picks, like I said, 4 sixth-round picks. So the Bears do have some ammunition. They could move around, but I like them to move back.
Yeah, well, bringing up the 4 6th-round picks, I would be very surprised if they don't move up in the 4th or 3rd round using a couple of those picks.
Right, Ryan Pace likes to do that.
4 guys in the 6, yeah. But if they were to trade back, I mean, I probably wouldn't do it unless we get at least a 2nd-round pick as well.
Or what if it's a future pick? You want to?
No, I mean, like obviously we would get that team's probably 2nd-round pick. You would assume, and then an additional second along with that.
I'm saying we trade back from 20 to like 28, and we get a 2nd-round pick by doing it. I'm sign me up.
Oh yeah. I'd be down for that. Yeah, I'd be down.
We're not getting rid of our 1st-round pick. We're just moving back in the 1st round.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the reason I want them to move back is because if we're picking like Kellen Mond at 20, I'm gonna be pissed. But if
we pick him, period, I'm not gonna be happy.
Okay, we need to pick a quarterback. I don't care who it is. We need.
I'd rather have Trask than him.
Sure. Okay. Well, maybe we can get a 2nd-round pick, and then there's Trask in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Let's trade back, get some picks, and then if we need to move up in the 2nd round, we got some ammunition to go get a guy in the 2nd round. But so I'm either we're trading up or we're trading back. I do not want to pick at 20. I don't think there's anything good coming at 20. Better situations are to sell a lot of assets, get a guy, or trade back, and then because this team needs some work. We need picks.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's more holes, I feel like, now than there were even at the beginning of this season, in my opinion. We lost Kyle Fuller. Our team's just getting older. Our line was not good, to say the least. So if we have a chance to move back for a good deal, I would do it. But I think, like we said, our both top choice would be landing one of them big-time quarterbacks like Fields or Trey Lance, for sure.
Yes. We didn't talk – I don't think we talked about the Damian Williams edition and the Marquise Godwin edition. I think those are great additions. They should give a little something to the offense. I know people are upset that Patterson's gone. We should be okay with kick returner because I think Damian Williams returns kicks. You know?
Yeah. I'm not sure if he has, but I mean, I think Patterson's the best returner in the league. Not that that really matters that much, because even if you're the best returner in the league, what are you going to return one more touchdown than the next best guy? Mm-hmm. So it's whatever. Williams is a solid running back, nothing special. Goodwin, when he's been healthy, has been good, but that's just not very often. So, I mean, for the price, we didn't pay that much. It's fine pickups. I'm not going to complain about him.
Gibson coming back too. I thought he was fine in the secondary, especially at that price. He's your starter for $1 million. So,
yeah, he's a solid player.
Okay, I want to just say, I'm excited about the draft. I think, arguably, the draft's more exciting than the Super Bowl. What would you think about that? That's like my bold take this year right now.
I mean, I'm assuming the draft will be more entertaining than this past year's Super Bowl. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, especially when your team's got some skin in the game. Like, who knows? We could do something exciting on draft night, or we could just get pissed off because they could take Kellen Mond at 20. So maybe I'm going to rescind my statement. But Ryan Pace, I think, has been a great GM, not in the first round.
Yeah, that's fair. His first-round picks have not been the best at all. And he hasn't even had that many, and we're still saying this.
Right. He's had Kevin White, Leonard Floyd, Roquan Smith. That's it.
And Mitch.
And Mitch. So
that's the big one.
The 2nd round and 5th round seem to be like his sweet spots. I don't know why, but
that was terrible.
Well, yeah, but okay. 2nd round, you get Goldman, you get Whitehair, you get Johnson, and you get Kmet. Those are 4 solid 2nd round picks. Besides,
Well, we don't know about Komet yet.
I think he gonna be all right. He gonna be all right.
All right. Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, I'm excited for him. I think he'll be good too.
All right. Any closing thoughts about the draft?
It's just I'm hoping that next time we hop on here and we're doing our draft review, we're in good spirit. I hope it's not like the last episode when everyone's just yelling. But it should be fun. It should be entertaining. The best part about the draft is just you never know what could happen. Like you never know what could happen. So, just sit back and try to enjoy the show. I
Yeah.
guess.
If you're not doing anything Thursday, I recommend watching it. Even if you're not even a football fan, it's a pretty cool thing to watch. Myself personally, I'm gonna be watching the Pat McAfee draft spectacular, so you can watch along with me on that. All right, it's been another Unbearable podcast. We'll come back later in the week after the draft all wraps up and talk about the picks. See ya.
Peace.